Okay, everybody, it looks like I am started a new print for a phone stand, and you can see here that the filament is not sticking to the bed. So we are going to have to start this print over and make sure that the filament is close enough to the bed. So I'm going to have to stop this here. And I can do that from my computer because I have a Raspberry Pi connected to my 3D printer here. So this runs all of the code, G-code, to the 3D printer here, plugged into my Ender 3 Pro. And so the command sometimes takes a little while to get to the computer, but eventually it will stop. Hopefully here in a few seconds so it doesn't waste more filament. And I'm just waiting here so I can adjust things here. This filament's just going to be all wasted, but it's not very much filament. So I include this in my numbers and cost of material because I know this is going to happen every now and then. So looks like the stoppers are disabled here because I can move the bed freely. And so what I'm going to have to do here is just check and see that, the post-it is just way too loose on the bed here. So I'm going to have to tighten it so that the extruder is closer to the bed. And I'll know that the extruder is closer to the bed when the paper, there's some resistance on the post-it, and I can actually, if you can see that there's some jerky going on, because now I'm tightening little wheels on the bottom of the 3D printer, and I'm just going a little turns at a time, equally tighten it, and I'm now starting to get a little bit of resistance. So just little turns on each corner, and now I can feel that good resistance. And now if I go to these corners here, it's feeling pretty loose, so that's good. So there we go. Maybe a few more, just a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm feeling that now. There's some resistance there. So the post-it's not very thick, so I think that's going to be a good amount so I can start to print over. And I'm just going to verify that the heat here is going up, and it's at 53, and now it's gone up to 54. So there you can see the extruder, the heat of the print bed is going up to 60 Celsius. I don't have to have it that high, but I think that's a good temperature for the filament I'm using, and the extruder heat is going to be going up to around 200, so you can get as low as 190 in Celsius, but I think I've done some tests, some calibration, bridge tests, and heat towers, and so those were the temperatures that I came up with. So I'll show you real quick the phone stand that I made the other day. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and this was made in two parts. So what you have is the base, and then you have the actual support, the back, and so you can I've created grooves here and the supports on the back, so you can just easily slide that in, and then it will support a large phone. So can't show you a phone right now because that's what I'm using to record this video, but trust me that a pretty large heavy phone can fit in here and support the weight, and then it can also go, the phone can also go sideways like this. So there we go, 2 pieces, and the extruder is now up to about 170. So just being patient. Again, I have the 3D printer plugged into a small mini Raspberry Pi computer. There's a little power cord, and everything about this Raspberry Pi is a micro. So you have several USB cords here. I got one of the newer Raspberry Pis so that everything would be up to date. You can connect a network cable to it if you wanted a faster connection. But for 3D printing, you don't need a very fast connection. And then this USB port I can use to connect a webcam to. So you can do time lapses. Might have seen that on other YouTube videos. So while this printer is going here, I'm going to just see that it starts out okay and that the filament is staying down on the bed. If the filament is not sticking, then I will turn these knobs clockwise to make sure that the bed is going to rise up towards the extruder. So here we go. It's going to print the skirt on the print. So I'm just going to, when I actually see some filament here, and for some reason I am not seeing any filament. Oh, yes I do. I see a faint little filament mark. And it's staying on there pretty good. It's not coming off at all. It's staying right in place. I can rub it pretty good and it's staying in place. If anything, it's probably a little too much. So I can back off a little bit and loosen it up a little bit. If you do too much, it's called elephant's foot, and what it's doing is it's taking the filament and it's squashing it really hard against the bed. And it looks like here it's staying down pretty good, no concern. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Going to quit fiddling with it. Going to see how the print turns out here. With 3D printing, you learn very quickly how to be very patient, trial and error, and you go through a lot of filament. So here's my bin of extra scraps that are not usable anymore. And you can see that the 3D printer here is drawing now the outline for the base. I will show you guys here. This is the base, so it's drawing the outline for that. And because I have it printed in 2 parts like this on the flatbed, it's only going to be about maybe 100 layers. So I'm pretty pleased to see the start of this. The top part of the design was not going down very well. This one seems to be doing pretty good. Straight lines, and you can see faintly the outlines developing here. So I want to end the video, guys, and show you guys that I have other stands here. Here's the heart-shaped one. So I might consider gluing that in place. That's a nice shiny filament. And as you're watching that, I also have in the wood filament the little bento boxes I've designed for miniatures and for food items to go in there. So that's a recent design that I've done in Blender. And then one of my first designs and that I put up on Etsy is the pineapple here. So some pretty angular diamond shapes, and then I made the very curved organic looking leaves arranged there, so people have enjoyed this. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next video.